No, I get it, but,
You know,
this is part of the cost of doing business.
yeah, I know that. I mean, I said, you know, because you know what, the unions and all that, you know, but the one thing is, they have to be reasonable to see well, how much money we cannot fabricate that son of a bitch.
But we also can't, because the board made bad mistakes in the past, we can't figure what's on.
No, well, no. I mean, this is, and the board made some mistakes. You know why they made some mistakes? Because they trusted private insurance. And they got friendship, and there was friendship. So, it's not bad. What?
Yeah, if you want it to be,
Because you know
if you
what?
want it to be recorded, the mics have to be on. If you don't want it to be recorded, just turn it off.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yeah, but
We'll reconvene from closed session. Chief, any report?
We have nothing to report at this time.
Okay. We have roll call, please.
Chairman Benny
Here.
Vice Chair Dorian. Here. Director Robert Houston.
Present.
Director Frank Hickman.
Present.
Director Michael Maderos.
yeah.
Okay. We stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please. Chief Madowski, would you lead us, please? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation, under God, justice for all. Put it on a speed run there. You're going to have to slow Mr. Gleason down a little bit. Okay, declaration of conflict of interest. None?
None.
None. Okay. Item 6, presentations, Chief? None?
We have no presentations.
Okay. Public comment? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the board on an item not on tonight's agenda may do so at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on.
Fire facility.
Public hearing is 8.1 is approve and adopt resolution 2015-17 annual fire facility fee report.
So every year, let it come up. Okay. So every year we do a financial facility fee report, which contains the beginning fund balance and any fees collected, interest earned, expenditures, any refunds, transfers, or loans to the capital outlay account. If there is a loan to the capital outlay, we have to describe how that's going to be paid back. And the loan that we did utilize for the maintenance in the station and grounds repaving was done through resolution, and we have that adopted in the means to how that's going to be paid back and the repayment date. So all that is addressed. Every year we're required to file this with the city for their, that gets placed into their capital facility fee reporting system, and also with the county for their capital, and it gets approved by the County Board of Supervisors. So we bring it to the board for their approval, and then we send out the correspondence. We have an ending balance of $773,631 at the time the facility fee report was done. 773,631 as of June 30th, 2015. So it won't match what you have in your book because you're looking at September's year to date.
Okay. And I was just showing Gloriana the fees collected by the city of Lathrop was over about $600,000 versus San Joaquin County, $25,000.
That's correct.
A big bulk of our facility fee comes from the city with all the buildings. Is there any questions before I open the public hearing?
The only question I have to know, did you raise the rates from last year to this year, or still the same?
Still the same.
Okay. Open the public hearing. Any questions from the audience? Anybody in favor or against? Okay, seeing none, close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. No questions, I'll look for a motion.
So move.
Okay, motion and second. Roll call, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you all. Okay, we'll move on to item 9 is the consent items. Becky, would you read the consent items, please?
We've been doing some construction in the boardroom here, the chair of the council chambers, and so we can't connect our normal computer to our drive, so we have to use a thumb drive, so it's for the inconvenience.
Consent calendar item 9.1, August 20th, 2015, regular board meeting minutes. Item 9.2, monthly register of warrants. Item 9.3, receive and file August 2015 incident and training report. Item 9.4, receive and file monthly year-to-date budget report.
Okay, any items to be pulled? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Manuel, second by Gloriana. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carries. Okay, move on to item 10 is 10.1 is discuss tablets for fire board of directors with authorization for the chief to purchase.
Okay, so we talked about doing more paperless with the council, as the council has, screens up there that fit through the tablets, and we would then send all the agendas. We'd then send all the agendas to the board through a paperless method of email, so you'd be able to get your agenda quicker, but wouldn't have as much paper going out, and so we were looking at purchasing the tablets, which are about $1,400 a piece. $1,200 a piece. If you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, we'd have to get a Wi-Fi hotspot for you to be at your house so that you could get on there, if you choose to do that. If part of the board wishes to have tablets and utilize the email system and the network that we have for correspondence for the board packets, that would be fine also. If there was a couple that didn't want to, we could still provide packets, but we're trying to do a more paperless, more effective, efficient way of getting the communication out to you. Also opening up the opportunity for anybody that wanted to contact you through email, they would be able to access, you'd be able to access your department email and correspond with any citizens that had good things or suggestions for us to improve.
You got to have a computer.
You would need a computer we would purchase the tablet to do that with, or not. So we just wanted to bring it up for a discussion item, and if the board wanted me to move forward with it, then we would then get an official bid, and we are assuming, we were hoping to get a number, but we know that we got a number for a couple of them for staff, and they're about $1,200 a piece. So we have some budgeted for staff, we just didn't budget for the board. We'd do a budget reallocation of that money.
Well, Go ahead. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Can you give me an estimated amount of, in terms of time, that staff spends copying and putting all of this together?
So time, I wasn't expecting time. I was expecting amount of sheets.
Well, there's going to be amount too, but
Right.
what I'm saying, what I'm trying to do is, I'm not going to move forward with anything like this unless I see that that the money's balancing itself out. So let's say that a person spends a whole day doing that, their wages for a whole day, plus the loss of that day, you know.
Right.
So in other words,
Yeah, so I'm going to defer this to Becky because she normally builds the packets, so she'll have a better idea of time consumed. I know it takes 3 of them to put the packets together at times.
wow.
Well, because there's so much to print and to sort. So it's not all 3 of them working at the same time, but some does certain projects and some does other projects, and we have to split it all up. We have battalion chiefs that do certain projects, so they have to make sure that everything's ready to be printed in one folder. And then somebody prints it out, and then they put the packets together officially, and then put them in the binder. So, and then your time to come and pick it up. So, Becky, I'll go ahead and defer it.
Thank you, Chief. Usually, it may take, if we were to, I guess, accumulate the time, it may take anywhere from half a day at the minimum to potentially a full day, including travel time to drop off the packets. And that would be combining some of the staff hours. That would be the review, the print, the compiling, the putting new tab dividers into the binders, making sure binders are up to date, and then also ensuring that everything is properly there and ready for the website as well. So that would be printing, scanning, and compiling your binders.
So you're talking about 3 people, half a day each?
No, that's
The combined.
basically
Okay.
combined.
Um,
And if I may, it mostly ends up being Debbie that compiles the binders. So it would take her about half the day to do that final draft, compiling the binders.
One other question, and actually it's kind of a comment, but also I had a tablet for work, but I had to put on my own Wi-Fi because some monies, and in that particular case was federal monies, cannot be used to Wi-Fi a home. Have we checked if that's, I mean, I have Wi-Fi, but I'm not asking, have we checked to see that it isn't allowed?
The city uses it that way. They have a couple people they give hotspots to for them to utilize the Wi-Fi. I suppose if they were using the Wi-Fi inappropriately, it could be questioned, but I don't know if that would be the case. So you would have to utilize it for what it's meant to be utilized for,
Yeah.
to access the web. And the tablets can be, Tony would set them up so that they can't be utilized inappropriately.
Is that it?
Those are my questions, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of that right now. I really think it's be better for us to wait a little longer. But one thing is, I don't have a computer. I don't care to have one. You know, I still function very well without it. You know, and but I don't think that the time consuming that you have over here justifies to have the computers, because you know you at least. I think for me and for Ben, and I think for all of us, we see it, you know, we take care of this, you know, and I think we all spend time looking this before we come over here. And I think sometimes the computers, you know, they're nice to have it. No, it's nice to have it. But I think sometimes this will probably work much better for us, my point of view. And because if some of them, if the 3 of them or the 5 or 4 of them want the computer, I don't want one. Period. I only have a little over a year left, you know, so I don't think I would want to right now be trained to work in a computer because I'm getting too old for that. but other than that, I think maybe we should wait when things are a little bit more stable.
All right.
I don't find myself saying this too often, but I actually agree with Lynn.
Huh?
I agree with you.
Thank you.
But in the sense that I have a computer, and I
That's
have
fine.
an iPad, and I just don't want to have to be tied to another. I mean, it would be one thing if I could have things sent to my existing computer, but to have one more piece of IT that I have to be responsible for, I think I would go with this. I would not be a fan.
Okay. Gloria's already had hers. Bob?
I'm in favor of not having paper. Okay.
Right.
But I am a lot like like Ty. Between work, home, pleasure. My phone is like everywhere. I've got my tablet. I've actually have two, but then the computer at home, the computer at work. And I'm like wired everywhere, and to have one more piece of equipment would drive me crazy. But if you could send it to me now, hey, I am all in favor. Send it to me. I'll open it up. I'll print it out if I have to. All that kind of stuff. But to have another piece of equipment for me doesn't do me. I'd lose it. Because how many times you set your phone down, and you're like, I know I had my phone with me. So it would be like that, or it wouldn't be used but once a month. So, but if you could send it to me on what I already have, yeah, I'm sweet with that.
Okay, and of course, I don't have a computer, so I'm already out.
See,
But I just kind of agree with the rest of the board. I think, right now, I think if it's going to help staff, great. I think go for it. But the board right now, let's just kind of put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
I think we thank you, Chief, for
For offering, yeah.
for offering it to us.
Okay.
But if I can get these through, send it to me.
Yeah, there's a way to, and I did some really, really rough calculations, and it would take, just for the iPad for us, it would take about a year and a half for it to repay itself. I did the math, and I even added the paper and everything else. So it's not cost effective for us. I have a laptop. I mean, I could even bring it if there's a way to, but I just don't. Now for staff, yes, because there's much more that, even moving that paperwork back and forth for them to review, for work but for us to just, for a meeting a month, I don't think it's cost effective.
Okay. For the ones that, would you, Ty, like us to send it to you electronically, to your email, that we have on file? And Bob, that'd be okay with you?
Yeah, me too.
And okay. All right, sounds good.
In other words, to the three that because then you don't have to print. All you have to do is scan.
Right. So, yeah, we'll build those packets and have them ready, and that way. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
We have to scan it to put it in on the web anyway, so.
Now, the other thing would be, also, we would need to connect to the Wi-Fi here when we are at meetings. Is that going to be a possibility? They're going to let us do it?
Yeah. So our network is connected to theirs, so when we're here, we connect to them with
But you can. I'm talking about my personal laptop.
your personal, there's a guest here too.
Good, thank you.
So, but we'd also get, there's no reason why we wouldn't bring some documentation for you to have it available for the meeting. So instead of having packets, you'd receive your electronic packet, and then we would bring paper packets for you to write on while you're here.
Okay.
If that's... No paper? Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's see what, we'll do it
For the
next
first month, I'll bring
meeting.
papers, just in
Yeah.
case.
Let's try it out first and see what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right.
So no action necessary.
Right.
Direction's fine.
Okay, move on to item number 11 is update from the Station Design Committee.
straight, and that's your baby.
So we put together a PowerPoint for you guys to discuss. There's something connected to it.
Well, you know, we met again with Del also, you know, and I think the station, we have agreement, we have got to find a picture what she's going to look like. We don't know if she's going to be this size or what's she going to be. But I think it's getting close to it, and I think within the framework we are doing, I think it's coming out pretty nicely, you know. So after than that, you know, I don't think we have nothing else to say because we don't have the final picture what it's going to look like, and but we have the location. But I don't. If you ask me where the location is, I don't know. It's inside the River Islands, but I don't know the location. Yeah, I know we went by there, but you know, I went by there once, you know, and there was that, you know. So then I don't know.
We did put up the drawings, so we have, this is the layout that you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Golden
Yeah.
Valley Parkway, Somerset, Somerston Parkway, that's that corner. It would be the northwest corner of that intersection. We do have some images for you to look at. This would be the three-dimensional image that they presented. This would be looking at the corner. It's got the pad comes off the corner so they could go in either direction because it's going to be a four-lane intersection one way. I think both of them may be four-lane intersections at that corner. So we want to be able to have the ability to respond in any direction that we need to. So, Chief, I'm looking at the picture.
Chief, I'm looking at the picture. So the entrance into the station is on either side?
Yeah,
On
so
either
the-
street?
I'm sorry.
In the back there?
Yes, so for the engine, it would come in off of Summerston, so it would always make a right-hand turn, and then it would circle back around and come through the back of the station. The administration, and you would have an entrance, so employee interest also could come in through the Golden Valley Parkway, make a left-hand turn, and then that would be how the public would access for the administration in the lobby. And then there would be a gate back there so we could keep the public separated from the day in and day out work that the firefighters are going to be doing in case they have hose out or something out in that work area. If we go back to the first drawing,
The what?
the first drawing right there. No, back. That one right there. One of the key components of this building, from the developer standpoint, is the red bifold doors. Red doors, basically. Susan wanted the red doors specifically in that on the apparatus bay, and trying to go through having the two-story versus the one-story. I don't know if we have a close-up of the side. Maybe go to the next image. There's a logo on the side there. There it is. That first portion of the wall would be either concrete, like a tilt-up, or a finished concrete portion, and then a brick facade up into that next ribbon, which would then have another concrete ribbon, and then the brick facade up to the top, and then you would have the cornice section of the building above that. The one thing we did want to change is the Lathrop-Manteca is facing the parking lot. We would move that to the other side, so it would be on the street side, but leave the emblem where it exists now. The next view shows you from the work yard what you would look at. The doors on the back are not as fancy. They are roll-up doors to save on a cost. One of the other components that the developer and what the team was looking at, and correct me if I'm wrong, Director Payton and Director Medeiros, is that they wanted to see the arches over the doorways to give it that old feeling of fire station. The developer doesn't really know what they don't know as far as what's going in there. They don't know if it's going to be a contemporary business park or if it's going to be, they don't know. They haven't finalized that, so this would be the first building in the business park section. And so they felt that if we went with sort of a traditional old-school station look, it would fit no matter what, because they want the fire station to stick out. even if it is more of a contemporary building area, they want to know, they want it to be a fire station. Exactly. So they wanted that to really set aside.
I think, Chief, didn't she say she wanted at least one building, one business to go in first before the station?
I don't remember that.
That's.
No, I think she wants to, the furnace and all that to be more or less, in conjunction with,
Yeah.
with the other,
With
you know,
the-
but,
with the
I mean,
businesses, yeah.
I don't remember her saying that, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
maybe-
no, I don't, because the station's going to be there long before the businesses are approved to be
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say, it doesn't what prompted is the people, the.
Rooftops.
Yeah.
It's the response time and the number of people.
Yeah.
So the business park is later on in the construction, so the station needs to be in before they build any buildings
Well,
out there.
That's what I got, but that's here and there.
I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't,
no, don't worry about it. I just, you know,
yeah.
it was along the lines of what you were saying, that she wanted it along those lines of
Oh,
what the businesses look
Yeah.
like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
and that's why, I think, was the other one, you know, I think we got more or less a concept what we want to do, and I think she's in agreement,
Yeah.
you know, with, but, you know, I mean, I said, you know, we still not finalized. And before, I think about when
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yeah.
Were things discussed, because they spent a lot of money out there in regards to water flow and
Yeah.
keeping the water, are the grounds and recapture system for water and all that, was that all, anything discussed, or strictly just the building discussed?
We haven't got the landscaping down, but there will be low-maintenance, water conservative landscaping that will be put in there. They just put grass in there to put the grass in there for now. We haven't gotten that far with the design, so we're just looking at, conceptually, they have to know what the outside of the building looks like so they can do the architectural the plans. The next phase is what we have just signed on for, is the soil analysis, because there's some liquefaction issues that are potentially out there. And River Islands or Can Bay has took on the responsibility that if there is a liquefaction, that they're going to be responsible to pay for that problem, because you have to deal with it with certain things. I'm sure you guys have experienced that through the city. There's a lot of ground that has that issue around here. So that's one issue. We're getting the soils report done, and then we can do the engineering. And once the engineering's done, we got the concept. The board has, and I think we brought back the conceptual process of how it's laid out. This is the next phase, to look at the side of the building and get the architectural design, and then we'll get a full set of plans brought in, and a full presentation will be conducted by our architect at that point. But we need to know what's wrong with the soil and how do we fix it before they can really design the building. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's the next phase that we're at.
And this is 35, correct?
That's, yes.
Yeah.
You know, because that's one thing that, I mean, we literally have a station on River Islands, the street or the highway or the lane or whatever it is. You know, I just don't want in future years for people to get confused. I mean, some people still in an emergency will drive to the station, you know, when they shouldn't do that. But I mean, I was having that conversation actually with Alan Chapman, that it is confusing. River Islands is over here. That's a development called River Islands. But the street is not there.
They're getting close to bringing in River Islands Parkway over,
Good.
and so
So
it's going to come around, and it'll be up there. And I would probably say, I hate to say 18 months, but it's getting close. They're getting the ramps done. They're getting the bridges there. Obviously, they're already talking about putting in doing the public utilities access for that. I gave them permission to put that in. They want to call it an emergency access road, but it's not going to be paved yet. So we gave them the permission to do that, as long as they're not trying to count it as a time frame, because just because you have an emergency access road doesn't mean that it's more efficient and effective to get to the area. The problem is if they have it gated on both sides because they want to keep the public out, because emergency access is not necessarily a public road unless it's a public road to begin with, it wouldn't be more effective. So just because you call it emergency access doesn't mean it's more effective. We can't claim that as that's going to decrease the response time. The second thing is that they're moving forward, but they got to figure out a couple things with the River Islands, because they adjusted the River Islands Parkway. And the buildings that are still all the way that they're already building to the south are going to be an issue. They're not going to meet the response time. The developer has already agreed to build the station. So, and I know that's not what you're getting to, but I just wanted to reaffirm that.
You're right. But you've answered some of my questions, because
Okay.
it was twofold. It is the confusion about, we have a station on River Islands, if you're thinking street versus project. The other piece is, if you drive down there in the morning and in the late afternoon, I mean, you're backed up past the bridge. So it's very, very, there's a bottleneck there, and I think that was going to be my next question, is when is this whole thing going to connect? Will it be before we're there?
I'm hoping we get the bridge going over, but the problem is even once we get that, it's not going to be sufficient to have the response time that's in the master plan for the city that we have adopted to meet the 3 to 4 minute response time. We're not going to be able to meet that because of a lot of the turnabouts slow down the response time. So those are factors that we have to play in when we start looking at how far we can get there. So we have done some real live responses from the station, and actually we responded about 28 times to the schools and areas around there, because there's already responses to that area. So we have live data that we've been utilizing that it does not meet that response time. It's quite a bit over. So we've already been collecting that data through the responses that we've had. We ran responses during different times of the day with our engine, even code 2, to see how far we could get at a certain amount of time. One of the issues that we're going to be facing shortly is the bridge at Mossdale is going to be, I don't want to say demoted, but it's going to be downgraded to one car at a time going across it. So the weight limitations are restrictive because of it's rated at an 8 right now. That's why the funding came in to redo Golden Valley Parkway, and that money came in for the bridge to go over that. So it's just a matter of time before that Stewart Road, it was supposed to go away, by the way, at a certain amount, but Caltrans has allowed it to be there for a little bit longer, but it's still going to be a restricted response to that area.
I see.
So, and then the other factor is, if we utilize Station 4 for River Island's response, then we're really taking away that engine out of another area that wasn't really projected to be that response area. It did serve a portion of that because of the way the polygons form. However, it's not to serve that whole area completely. So,
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Chair, you need to recognize that Director Madera stepped down.
would you like to see any more pictures, or? So that's the conceptual drawings that we got for the station, and yeah. So
The architect showed us a whole bunch of pictures.
yeah.
Remember that, Chief?
Oh yeah, he could take the pictures we just showed you and put different times of the day on there to show you the shadow of the trees. It's quite impressive, the program he has. The building, as you're looking at it right now, the large section over to the right is the community room, and we built that twice the size of the one at Station 4 that we have been trying to hold our meetings at there once in a while. For emergency response, for an ICP, if we needed for the area, there's several factors that we'd be utilizing that for. And then the admin, that's just to the right of that, from this picture, has enough office space to fit everything that we have now and some. So we're kind of making sure that we grow with the station. The station is going to be capable of holding 2 companies there, a truck company and an engine company at build-out. We put in 8 bedrooms in there and enough bathrooms to accommodate such. So it really is the total station at the end of the day. And we took in the firefighters' concerns and suggestions in the process of putting it together. They were presented to and they've attended a couple meetings too.
Oh, cool.
So, I'm sorry, Director Payton and Director Maris, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Okay. Thank you, Chief. We'll move on to item 11.2.
Are any of these conceptual drawings, Mr. Chair, on the our Facebook or any of that?
Not yet, I
Is-
wouldn't.
Well,
Not-
it's now
not
public
yet.
It's public record, so we could.
Well, they're just conceptual right now.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why I haven't put them on yet is because I wanted the board to see them first before I did that, so that you guys aren't seeing them on.
Well, just in case something changes, the
Yeah.
last thing we need is comments on that Facebook. Hey, they
Yeah, well,
put
they're
this
gonna
picture, but they did something else.
Yeah, where'd the logo go?
Until it's final.
We couldn't afford it.
They make comments all the time.
Okay, on to item 11.2, Chief's report.
So I just wanted to remind the directors that are attending the California Special Districts Association Annual Conference in Monterey. That's coming up Monday and lasts till the 24th. We're having staff, myself and Chief Medowski are going to be going to another conference in a different state. So what we were going to do is make sure that we have Becky, my executive assistant, Becky Ariola, will be attending with you guys, and she'll be taking a staff vehicle, so to transfer you back and forth to the conference and back to the hotel. So she'll be meeting up with you guys when you guys get settled in and figure out how that is. So we'll have transportation back and forth for you for the conference, and then accommodations for meals and whatnot. She'll make sure that that's all taken care of and whatever needs to happen. We are going to Firehouse Software Education Symposium in Florida. We leave actually the 21st also, but it runs from the 22nd to the 25th. But we have to fly, so obviously there's travel days, and we come back on that Sunday. And then I wanted to give you guys an update on the fire incidents. We sent a Type 3 strike team. We sent an engine as part of a Type 3 strike team. Initially to the Rough Fire, or excuse me, they went to the Creek Fire. They were there for 3 days, got moved to the Rough Fire, and then was demobbed, came back. We switched engines because I sent engine 36 initially. We switched engine to engine 30, and they were sent to the Valley Fire, and they're there currently. We also, right after the Butte Fire broke out, Chief Medowski was sent as part of as an assistant strike team leader to the Butte Fire with the OES engines in the county, and he was there till last night. He got back about 11:30, so he saw a lot of fire, and we've debriefed, and they did a really good work up there with the OES engines. We also, when the Butte Fire was really moving quite and eating up a lot of it ate up 14,000 acres in one day. So it was moving pretty quick. They broke out a fire in Lake County again called the Valley Fire. They have every resource was at the Butte Fire and at the Rough Fire, so there was zero. And I was monitoring the Valley Fire, and they had no resources on it all, and they were losing houses, and they were worried that people were already being burned. And it obviously, that did happen out in that fire as the reports have came out. We sent a Type 1 as a part of a task force because Region 4 scrambled together to try to send whatever we could. We couldn't find a strike team. A strike team is, 5 of the same types of engines. We couldn't get one together, so we sent a task force of 3 Type 1s, or Type Alphas, Type 1s, a Type 3, and I think a Type 6. And they're still up there today. I just spoke with the coordinator, and they were talking about maybe getting them cut out because they were part of the initial attack. They were sent up there without any kind of direction at all, just to go up there. They requested, they wanted me to take the strike team, but I had a lot of meetings going on, plus they wanted to see if they needed a division because they were worried that they weren't having enough divisions up there. So they did call me. It was kind of late on Monday. The request came in on Saturday, and I had spoke with the chair, and he was going to think about letting me go when the fire was really in concern, and they were worried about it. But when it came to Monday, the fire had died down a little bit. It appears that they still have a lot of fire to fight, but since the meetings where we opted for me to stay home and work at home and get that, and I thought that was the best choice for us. So even though they were requesting everything that we possibly had and the kitchen sink, we sent everything we possibly could to the fire siege that faced us in California this last 2 weeks. So just an update of where everybody's at. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I'm sure you're leaving the district in good hands with our BCs and Debbie? Debbie and Sue?
Well, now that you mention it, yeah. Yes, they will. I am always available. The only time will be during the flight for me. But yeah, the BCs will be able to handle pretty much any decision. And even when I was on the fire, they communicate with me if there's any incident, and we're in a position, unless we're in an all-out firefight, I would be able to respond to any concerns or questions that they would have.
Okay. Board comments. Thank you, Chief.
I would like to say thank you for understanding that I went to the Fork Fire, and I was on that fire helping them out there, and I appreciate the boards, and I'm sure the county and the state of California appreciate you allowing me to attend and assist with those firefights.
Technology allowed us to have a conversation, so it was great.
Robert, comments?
Yes, I do. Lots. Pictures. I know, but I've got friends all over the state, and a lot of people are posting pictures, and you mentioned some of them, but some of them would be kind of fun to see what your experiences are. Chief Madowski and Battalion Chief Nussbaumer, they're doing their task books, and so they're moving up the command chain of CAL FIRE, and that's nice to be able to know that the perpetual leadership is here in the department. But pictures would be really good to see. What is it that that you're doing out there? We send you. The public doesn't understand really. They see what's on the news, but the experience that you're having is firsthand, and it is a sense of pride for the department. I had a question, Chief, about, and I have no answer for this. That's why I'm asking you. We spent some time and money with our station's extinguishers. Can't we do that ourselves? Can't we get someone certified to do our extinguishers and test them out and put them back, service them, save us a little bit of money? I don't know.
I think that's a good idea, but I would advise against it, and the reason being is that having a third party do it, if we were to use one of those extinguishers and it not work, then we would kind of be on the hook why it didn't work because we did the service on it. So having a third party is like having a third party come in and do our ladder testing. It just gives us that autonomy of not being able to say that we were inclusive of testing it ourselves and that it failed. So that's the only reason why I would say the extinguishers on the engines.
Yeah, that's ones we're doing.
No, we do those.
We do ours. Okay.
We just don't do the ones in the station that are required by the fire marshal because he can be kind of a hassle sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
But we do the ones in the stations. The big ones on the engine, we do utilize them ourselves.
Okay.
We do them.
Farmer connection and deep well stuff. where do we kind of sit with that?
That's a very good question. We haven't quite dropped the ball on it, but we haven't formalized and gotten out there and researched that up a little bit, but that is on the, it is on the radar, and we're getting to that. So when we get further along with it, we'll get some more information for you.
Okay. And E15, is the DVD available for our last E15 or Q15, whatever they call it now?
I think it is E15. Did we get a disc, or I know you can get it on YouTube. Can you get that and maybe put that on the webpage? Yeah.
So, so I participated. The board, again, see what is being done in regards to, that's a huge community outreach and educating the public, our young people, about the dangers of drinking and driving. Lastly, I had the opportunity, I had a friend of mine's son go through the French Camp Fire Academy, and it was fun to kind of bust his chops because he went to French Camp, and not us. But I had a chance to go to his graduation, and they did a pretty good job. The cookies were a little hard. You know, the reception wasn't as good as ours. We have better food, but it was nicely well attended by the community. I thought it was really nice to go there. So I just wanted to let you know that I went there. I had a good time, and so many people were there. So now they got 9 more reserves and nine more on duty guys to handle what they're calling Mountain House Community Services Department, something like that. And they have their own little patch for Mountain House. But yeah, they're trying. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Brianna?
Question, when you said that Madosky took an engine from the county, are those green?
Yeah, we're attempting to get one. We put in an application for one. We tried to get a Type 3 because they have the small ones too, but they opted to put the 5 that came to Region 4. So Region 4 is compiled of Stanislaus, Sacramento, and San Joaquin, and is it Calaveras and Tuolumne area? So I know those are the 3 big counties that are in it. So they opted to put them in one OA, one operational area, so they put them all in SAC and split them up between West SAC and all those. So they got the small green engines. We have 5 in the county right now: Woodbridge, Stockton, Lodi, Manteca, and Tracy. But they have extra, so we opted to put in for one. I'm not sure if I think we're running head and head with Stanislaus, a city in Stanislaus. So if we don't get it this time, we'll still apply because it's still a resource for us to utilize. So we're still trying to get as much of that as we can, and we're a big player for the mutual aid system, so we're hoping that it'll come to fruition.
That would be outstanding. I know that they happened to come through town, and they stopped at Save Barn, and I was going to Save Barn, everybody was like, what is it, what is it, what is it, you know, and people are proud of their fire departments, but when they know that that's part of it, I mean, and I actually heard a lady say, oh, are they from Lathrop? And I said, you know, I didn't want to tell her no, they're probably just driving through, but that would be great. Outside of that, no, I personally appreciate the fact that we do respond. Air doesn't have boundaries, and for all of us who were, you know, breathing in all of that ash and choking to death, you know, I mean, it's, had they gotten any bigger or moved any faster, I mean, it's just really, health-wise, not good. So thank you for going. We missed you, but.
I got no more candies.
Okay. Ty?
No comment.
Manuel?
No, I just want to thank Ty for letting me have his jacket, you know, otherwise I probably be gone a long time ago. Forgot my vest. But anyway,
Okay.
that's all.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to recognize all our firefighters that been fighting these blazes. I mean, it's like California, Oregon, and Washington been in a firestorm, and I'll tell you what, you know, there was, 3 firefighters that got burnt pretty bad here. You know, just at the start of these fires, and I know they're recovering. And hopefully, in their prayers, they're going to recover significantly. We've had a couple, 3 or 4 people lost their life, citizens that you know, that's a sad situation. A couple of them just refused to leave the burn area, and they paid the price, which is bad, but that was their choice. But it's, the guys are putting their life on the line every day on these fires, and you know, they're working not 8 hours, not 10 hours. Some of them are working 36 hours, you know. And when you put that much time in fighting a fire like that, there's all kinds of opportunities to get hurt. So all I can say is job well done for all our firefighters. That's all I have at the present, so will everybody stay safe, and we'll we'll adjourn this meeting till next regular board meeting, October 15th. Good job to you and your staff, Chief.
I said you hit it twice, turn it off.
Oh.